is it exciting to finally kind of get to build a game plan with the stuff you guys want to show everybody and to highlight Anthony? I know obviously in the preseason you're kind of holding back some of the stuff that's going to be really good for him, you know.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, first game of the year, chance to go up against Jacksonville, who obviously won the division last year, and get a chance to sort of, anytime you move from the preseason to the season, things change a little bit schematically usually. So I think that's probably true with every team in the league. So yeah, are we having a good time this week putting together the plan? We sure are. Hopefully put together some good plays, some good ideas, some things that we do well and have a chance to have success. But yeah, we're excited. It's week one. You're gonna be excited no matter what, but hopefully gonna have some fun drawing them up as we go this week.
Yeah.
Jim Bob, when we talked to Shane yesterday, he said one of the, I won't call it a problem, but an issue with a rookie quarterback is the unknown. You're not really sure what you're going to get. How do you prepare for the unknown, limit the unknowns? The issue is they're unknown. So how do you kind of try to limit what you're not going to see from him? The bad thing.
Yeah, good question. I mean, we're sort of constantly preparing, hopefully all our guys, but especially the quarterback room, the starting quarterback in particular, for what we think they're going to see that week. This being sort of, week one, first NFL game. Every team tends to have some things they change up every offseason, so even if, we have a whole season of tape on Jacksonville's defense last year, I'll bet there's a few tricks up their sleeve, right? I bet there's a few things we just can't predict. You have to stay ready to adjust to all that. For us, coaching staff wise, we try to prepare everybody for everything, but realistically, within one game week, you can't cover every single possible, I'm going to use a big word here, permutation that any defense can sort of throw at you. So we're preparing for a bunch of stuff, trying to sort of figure out what we think they might do or what might be a likely course of action for them, how they might want to play, and make sure we have a good plan in place for that, and make sure Anthony and the rest of our guys are prepared for that. But reality is going to be there'll be a change up. There'll be something on the side. That's why we have those surfaces on the sideline, and we have those headphones up to the booth. We're always talking and adjusting, and things change in this game, which makes it fun. So we'll prepare our best, but probably going to be doing some adjusting in game just because that's how it works.
One quick follow-up on Anthony. He's going to see things again as he moves forward that he's not seen before, just because of the nature of the inexperience. From what you've seen, does he have the temperament to handle the sudden, the changes and all that? What have you seen that makes you think that won't be the problem?
Yeah, I would say sort of day in, day out as we go through training camp, we try to continually challenge our guys mentally. Obviously, they're going through what they're going through physically, going through practice, how many reps they get, all that stuff. But mentally, we're trying to keep things fresh for them, give them new ideas, sometimes make them work a little bit more day in, day out to sort of stay on top of things mentally, maybe give them a new check, give them a new adjustment, give them a new defensive look that we're sort of preparing for. So we've been working through that for the entire sort of off season and training camp. That's a little bit of a part of our process. And he's handled that stuff well, but it's going to be every single week's going to be a new front structure, a new blitz package, a new coverage package, some new red zone adjustments down in there when you get in there tight. So it'll just be a continuous process of learning and adjusting and growing, I think, as the year goes.
Dominic?
Whether it be mentally or physically, what is it you want to see from Anthony that will make you feel like it's the proof of concept, right? He's learning what you want him to learn. I know it's game one, it's week one, it's one game. And kind of off that too, just what are your expectations that will make you feel good about this offense moving forward?
Yeah, for Anthony, I'm like I said, we're kind of in the middle of a game week. I'm looking to do my best job as we're game planning, as we're teaching this week, as we're coaching this week, to give them the best chance to succeed. And I'm really not looking to overly judge any one play or any one decision or any one drive. We're gonna go fight and scratch and claw to try to win this game, and Anthony's going to be a part of that. And maybe it'll be I guess we've said it a few times before, like as you go through these NFL seasons, you go through these NFL games, there's some bumps along the way, right? It probably won't be perfect. I'm not in the mode of overly harshly judging like I said, one player, one drive, something like that. I'm not looking for, a certain statistic that we want to get to. We just want to go compete to win, improve as we go, sort of do whatever we can do to help our team offensively. If that's scoring X amount of points, sometimes you got to score a few extra points, but sometimes in this league, you got to play really good team football, and that looks a little bit different on the scoreboard, but you get the win at the end of the day. That's really the goal. So we're trying to play good football. We're trying to sort of get a little bit better as the week goes, as the year goes, as the game goes, right? First quarter to second quarter to third quarter. So I'm not going to be grabbing the nearest stat sheet at the end of every drive and, over analyzing certain strengths and weaknesses statistically. I'm really just sort of looking to give our guys every chance to win and go compete that way. So,
James?
Jim Bob, Shane Steichen mentioned that they're going to most likely be running back by committee. Just want to know how do you prepare for that? And then also, how have you seen just that running back position shift over the years? Now, obviously, it's great to have a great one, and a dynamic one. But if you don't, how have you seen teams still be able to generate like that? Just not even if it's not yards, just the fear of it, or like the perception that you're gonna have that balance.
Yeah, I think there's a few different ways, just sort of looking around the league throughout the last, let's say, 5 or 10 years. There's a few different ways that teams have gone about their running back position, whether it's, sort of two guys almost split in time. Sometimes those are like the thunder and lightning backs, right? You kind of heard about in years past. Sometimes it's even 3 or 4 backs that are really specialized with the roles that teams are asking them to do, whether it's somebody that does a little more protecting, somebody that carries the ball a little more on first, second down, maybe somebody that runs a few more of those routes when they're running routes from the running back position. So there's a few ways to do it. Obviously, there's maybe the teams where one particular guy plays most of the snaps and does most of those things. There's a lot of different ways, and honestly, there's a lot of ways teams have had success in this league. We're going to try to sort of make sure we have the best plan to utilize our guys and give ourselves a chance to have success offensively. We like the group we got. The guys have been practicing hard, working hard. We'll like I said, that's part of what we're doing in some of these meetings here behind the scenes today is sort of making sure we use our personnel the right way. How much are we playing each guy? Where do we want to, do we want to put this guy on that play, or do we want to sort of let one guy sort of take them all? So we're talking through all that stuff, trying to do our best to figure out the best policy for our guys this year. So.
And one quick follow-up, how much of it is also feel, like throughout the game? Shane mentioned that sometimes like you go in with the game plan, it's like, hey, we want to get X amount of touches for X amount of guys, but then, hey, if one guy's rolling, so like, how much of that communication is happening in real time?
Yeah, I think there's some truth to that. Having been around a few of those running back position decisions over the years, like it's great to make a great plan, but you have to stay sort of ready if there's a good reason to play a guy a little bit more. You have to stay open-minded to seeing that and to making that adjustment in game. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that. It's kind of been called the hot hand before, and sometimes guys just sort of have it in a certain game. You look up and those runs are going their way. They're reading them out the right way. They're running hard. They're breaking those tackles. They just got a little extra bounce in their step. That has happened before, and I'm sure it'll happen at some point this year for us. So we'll keep our eyes open for something like that for sure.
Couple more. We'll go to Kevin.
Hey, Jim Bob, what stands out to you about Jacksonville's defense?
Yeah, it's a tough defense. Being around those guys last year, kind of getting to know the guys and watching them compete week in, week out. They're long, they're fast, they're athletic. They're an aggressive-minded defense. They're not afraid to blitz you from any direction at any time with any of their guys. And there's, like I said, there's some really good players over there that have played really good football over the past several years. So it's going to be quite the challenge for us. Like I said, they won the division last year. They did it for a reason. It's a good football team. It's a good defense. We got to sort of make sure we know who we're going up against, what they like to do, what we think they like to do, what we think we're going to see a little bit more of, and try to go attack them. Try to go get after these guys. They're they're like I said, the challenge is there, but we like our group. We're excited to go compete against them, so it'll be fun.
And then one more. I remember Frank Reich telling us that he thought quarterback wise, a key metric was always yards per attempt. Just felt like that was a good barometer in kind of evaluating the success of the offense, success of the quarterback. Is there something that you look at, whether it's yards per attempt, passer rating, something totally off, a different stat that you point to when looking at quarterbacks?
When I evaluate either the quarterback position, sometimes off season, you're going through a lot of different things, or sort of just post-game type notes type of deal. I think yards per attempt is a pretty good sort of, it's, I don't want to use the word simplistic, but it's simple enough that us football coaches understand it. Right. And it seems to make a lot of sense. You drop back however many times, how many yards do you get out of those? Is that exactly a 1-for-1 with how your quarterback played? No, but I think you can learn some things from how that number looks. Sometimes offensively post game in my history, I would have sorted out some numbers like that and just sort of said, hey guys, we weren't up to snuff yesterday throwing the ball, or hey, we were pretty good yesterday throwing the ball. That would have been one of the numbers we would have looked at for sure.
Last question, Joel.
Shane kind of acknowledged yesterday that you guys, went back and looked at, what Anthony did in college to get ideas on how to tailor the offense. How much do you think going through that with Jalen in Philadelphia, and like how much do you think that helped doing it with Anthony to start now? And obviously it's going to change as the season goes along. It always does, but you guys have kind of done this quite a bit in the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's been around a few young quarterbacks, and luckily enough, some young quarterbacks that have really had some success. And we've, there's a lot of different ways to try to do things and try to gather ideas and gather thoughts and gather sort of play ideas. And we were with Jalen in Philly, and we sorted up a bunch of that tape and went through it and tried to find some good stuff, things that they know well, because I'm going to try to set a record here and just do this every press conference for you guys. But like, we talk about reps a lot, right? We like reps, and we track how many reps they get running certain plays here in the building here with the Colts. But, let's not discount the reps he got last year running a concept at Florida or at Oklahoma for Jalen, things like that. I mean, honestly, the same thing, with a bunch of young quarterbacks. I think it's a good idea. Doesn't mean you're just going to copy paste their offense over, but sometimes you look up and there's a play that maybe a quarterback has a lot of comfort with, and they ran it quite a bit in college, and it's a play that is a good offensive play, but maybe you don't use it a ton within your previous offense, and you're like, you know what? I think we can get this thing going. I think this quarterback likes this play. I think we're pretty good at it. I think this guy can run this route and that guy can run that route. Those things kind of naturally happen when you're doing that sort of research behind the scenes. So I think it's a good sort of off-season policy when you got a young quarterback to dive into their pass and know what they're comfortable with.
Do you think this might be too big a question, but do you think the NFL's changed a little bit in that way? I just remember like reading when I was younger a lot about like, this guy's going to have to make the transition into an NFL offense. And he's got to figure out how to do everything, the way this offense does, the way this scheme does. Do you think that's kind of changing as coaches try to figure out better ways to get quarterbacks going?
Well, I don't want to speak as a overgeneralization for the whole NFL or anything, but I'll just for us, I'll say these last several years, we're trying to stay open-minded to new concepts that can help our team and help our offense and help our young quarterbacks. So, throughout the past, whether or not somebody else did that or didn't do that, or even myself, have I become more open-minded over the last several years? I probably have, I don't know whether that's true of all of us in the league or not. You'd have to do a little bit more of a survey to figure that one out. But we're trying to find good ways to let our guys have success, and that's been one that's had some success the last few years.